Hello, welcome to the BTech first year course of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, Kolkata. I'm Dr. Indrajit Bose and I shall be your course instructor for this session. This paper is entitled English with a paper code of A2101. In this paper, we have been taking a look at the various forms, modes, and genres of communication in the context of a globalized world. This module, in fact, is module 4 entitled Business Writing, in which we have been looking at the various forms, purposes, and types of business documents. We have covered business correspondence, dealing with all types of business letters, emails, meeting documentation, and other documents like memos, which are sent as inter-office memorandums. So we have been looking at various documents. We have also looked at reports, or what is the importance of writing reports. Now this is the last lecture in the series, lecture 22, in which we shall be taking a look at something which is equally important, that is how to write a proposal. This is the complement really to the lecture on the report, because report and proposal are really two things which go hand in hand. They are most often required to be written in the business sphere. And when you are in the office, you often have to write both. So knowing how to write a report is nearly as important as knowing how to write the proposal. Now, in the course of our lecture today, we shall be taking a look at what is a proposal. So what exactly is a proposal? What is its nature and significance? What are the proposal types? The structuring of the proposal, or what is the format that you will follow when you are drafting a proposal, and writing strategies, or how shall we go about writing the proposal. This is what, in a nutshell, we shall be looking at. Now, to begin with, first things first, what exactly is a proposal? Let us suppose that you are planning to extend your office to have a new sub-branch somewhere else. So have you made any plans for that? Where are you going to have that branch? So what is the location? Have you made any plans about whether you are hiring or renting the premises over there? Will you have office furniture moved there, or will you have new furniture made? Who are the people who shall be working over there? What will be the cost of the entire shifting and the upkeep and maintenance of that place? So this all would be the subject of a proposal, the proposal to have a new branch of the office. Or let us suppose that you plan to not have something really new, but just to revitalize something that is already existing, like your canteen, your office canteen, for example. So maybe you plan to have a more modernized canteen with more up-to-date and modern facilities. So even for that, you need to have a budget. You need to have a source of funding. You need to have a clear idea of what sort of fixtures, what sort of labor or manpower you will need to get in. So both these are subjects of proposals. Proposals are projects of things which have not yet materialized, but which are in the planning stage, or which are visualized or conceptualized, and which might materialize in the near future if the plan of action is followed. So that is what is a proposal. It is a plan. It is a draft of some projected scheme, but not anything airy-fairy, mind you. It's not anything that would exist in space only. Its proposal is very much something that exists both in space and time, because it has got a time scheme which has to be followed, provided that we can implement that. Obviously, what we are talking about is a written document like other written documents, just like a report is a written document. So is a proposal. It is a written document which gives us the scheme of things which we are going to bring about, or this project or this plan. And it can also have a sort of a plan to solve some sort of technical problem. Yes, we might even have a proposal for that. So let us say that there is some problem with the outlets that we have in a particular area. So we are planning to shut that down and have a new outlet in a different area. So why do we have that? So there must be some reason for that. So again, there would be a proposal for that. Or let us say that I'm selling a particular product and it's doing really well in a particular zone of Kolkata. Now I plan to extend this to the suburbs of Kolkata. So I'm putting forward a proposal for that. So in all cases, I would need to have a written document which will contain a couple of things, like just like I have said, the budget. What is the budget? The budget would be a blow-by-blow account of all the costs in details, of all the fixtures, the labor, manpower, and everything else, like things which are needed to be rented or which we can get in hire purchase. So all the costs that might possibly be involved in a project of any kind, whether big or small, would be covered in the budget. So the strength of any proposal is its budget, as you can understand. Also, the outline of the work plans. As I have said, it is nothing airy-fairy, nothing wishy-washy. All proposals have to have a very clear-cut conceptualization and a very good and coherent planning. So if I'm going to extend the sale of my products in the suburbs of Kolkata, then I would need to have a plan. In the first phase of the plan, I will be extending my selling to South 24 Parganas. In the next phase, I'm moving to certain areas of the North 24 Parganas. After that, I'm selling in South Bengal. So each will be chalked out month by month, week by week. I will have a sales target to meet. I will have a customer base to tap, and I will have people over there who will try to meet the sales targets and the customer base. So the entire uh, planning has to be done, and this is all time based. Okay, so if it's a construction project, then how much work will be taken up by the different phases of construction? We will in fact be looking at an example like that in the lecture today. So I will be talking about the time phasing of the construction. Viability. Now this is another very, very vital factor in the uh, planning of the proposal. And you know, it's all about here, viability. Yes. What is viability? So is your proposal feasible? Is it viable? Is it workable? Will it work in real practice? Let's say I give a proposal to open outlets in South 24 Parganas, one in North 24 Parganas, and one in South Bengal, 3 outlets. And they are going to cost my company to the tune of around 2 lakhs more in 1.5 months. Okay, and the sales of my product are targeted at around 4 lakhs. So I would say that there isn't a great deal of profit margin, but there's still some profit that I'm making over there. But if I can widen the gap between what I'm spending over there and my profit margin, then the proposal would be more valuable. Suppose I'm spending around 1 lakh and I'm making a profit of around 4 lakhs, then it would still be a little more viable. So there's this question of viability, which is basically a question of economics. It's fundamentally a question of economics or money. How much we are willing to spend if we think if it is profitable or not. So proposals will stand if they are viable, proposals will not stand if they are not viable. Now, here we come to one other thing, and this tied up with the last point that I've got here, the assessment of the suitability of the proposal. Now, do you think that the proposal is suitable or not? Who is going to determine that? Just like in reports, reports are commissioned by an authority somewhere, and they are the people who again read the reports, and they are the ones to whom the reports are submitted. Again, proposals are also submitted to people in higher authority, and it is they, the administrators, who will be the decision makers in this case, because obviously they are holding the purse strings. The finances are in their hands. So they are going to judge the suitability, the viability of the proposal. So again, this whole question of the proposal or drafting the proposal boils down to whether it is economically viable or not. And accordingly, it has to be prepared. It is only then that the higher authorities are likely to consider it favorably. And once the proposal would be passed favorably, it will be accepted. So these are a few basic points regarding what kind of a document a proposal is. It's a plan or it's a scheme about something which doesn't exist but which you are planning. It contains the budget and all the details of the planning about that particular project, including the time planning. And it is presented to somebody in higher authority who will be deciding whether it is suitable or not. And this whole question of the success and acceptability of the proposal hangs or impinges on this question of economic viability. Now, let us consider further. Now, to make a basic point of differentiation between the proposal and the report deals with facts or with things that have already happened or taken place, but the proposal deals with things which are yet to materialize, so it considers possibilities. Okay. Or it can talk about, as I have just mentioned a little while ago, it can talk about improvement of some facilities which are already there or utilities which are there but which can be improved upon, or modification. Let's say I have a small gymnasium in my college. Now I plan to make that into a large-scale gymnasium. So there's an upgradation, okay? Or it can be a construction of something totally new. Like I said, new outlets for my products. Obviously, it focuses on practical outcomes. It's very much practical in orientation, and it addresses the complex needs of today's business environment. All the time, we have different kinds of projects. We have different kinds of plans regarding various things which we are bringing into being or existence. Business is always developing, diversifying, and it is moving to new frontiers. So obviously we have to think of proposals for all that. Proposals are very, very important. Now, what's the significance of these proposals then? Something which I have already been talking about. So because they conceptualize and record or document rather all the projects or plans of organizations, they are very valuable in terms of the records of the plans. Okay. They also give us an index of the company's growth or progress. The more innovative, the more research-based, and the more complex the proposals are likely to be, or more forward-seeing, it is an index that the company is really diversifying and developing. Obviously, the better proposals would also conceptualize the financial planning aspect of it, so they will bring in more richer rewards or financial returns to the organization. There are also research proposals, because obviously innovation is a key aspect of research. So as far as academics are concerned, if we talk about academic institutions or not business ones, there all the research activities which are there, they are dependent on innovative projects and proposals. So whenever I have a new project scheme, I will make a research proposal for that. And I will apply for a grant, research grant or a fund. As far as businesses are concerned, they can also help to win new contracts for the company. And we can say this whole writing process of the proposal helps to develop the communicative, persuasive, and organizational skills of the employees who are involved in that writing. So it is a skill, and it requires certain training and inculcation of certain basic qualities, which we are going to explore in the course of our discussion. Now, what are the types of proposals? One type is obviously the sales or business proposal. Like just a little while ago, I talked about one proposal for having new sales outlets. So that is a sales proposal. Or they can be a business proposal. Let us say one company manufacturing plastic bottles is signing a business contract or deal with another company which is manufacturing certain detergents. So the detergents will be marketed using those plastic bottles. So that's an interesting and innovative merger, okay, or business proposal that they are planning out between each other. Proposals can be in-house or inside the organization. They can also be sent outside the company to potential clients and customers, and they can attract people to business. Obviously, they can come in the form of business documents, letters, accompanying letters or emails, and they can be solicited and they can also be unsolicited. We can have to sift through many different proposals which have come in. But the ones which are not economically viable, the ones which are not going to be profitable, the ones which are largely impractical, or they are not very detailed in terms of the planning, are likely to be scrapped. So that is something we have to keep in mind. You must have the detailing of the time planning as well as the budget in your proposal in order for it to be accepted. Now, apart from these business proposals, there can also be research proposals. Like I was saying about academic institutions. Academic institutions usually have proposals regarding academic grants and scholarships or stipends, or let us say visiting professorships. So again, all kinds of grants are there. So there can be different types of projects that we would like to take up. So let us say that I plan to go to the archives of one particular American university to do a research project on a certain author called Emerson. So Emerson's writings, I'm going to do a project on, because that particular archive in the USA is an archive of his writing. So I will be writing a book on Emerson in the process of doing this research work and after I complete the project. So I have to put through a proposal for a research grant. Let us say that there is a grant from the Ford Foundation in the USA. So they will provide the grant for travel, for airfare, travel within the country, over there in the USA, the grants needed for staying over there for a couple of weeks in that university, food, lodging, and daily allowance, and also the return airfare, and also any other costs for books, photocopying, or any other facilities that I might need. So I would need to give all the details of the costs that would be involved in the budgeting for this sort of academic project. Also, if I'm writing the book, then what will be the expense that I might need to go through in the preparatory work for that. So all this planning obviously is of a different nature from that of the business proposal, which deals with business dealings and partnerships and things related to products, services, dealerships, profitability, and so on. So an academic proposal is going to be a different one. Research proposal will be a different one from the business one. But again, I have to go into details regarding the cost, regarding the planning, the time planning, and also what would be the outcome or the results of this particular research project. So I have to show that there will be a positive outcome in terms of scholarly output. I have written a book. I have written some articles which are published in research journals or Scopus Index journals. So again, that would be a positive outcome which comes out of the project. It is only then that the authorities who are in charge of the grant would be considering in my favor. So these are the two types of two types of proposal, really, the business proposals and the research proposals. Now we are going to take a look at the structuring of the proposal. Obviously, there is a detailed structure, just like in that of a report or a long report. So we have a title page, then this is followed by letter of transmittal, in which it's just like the letter of transmittal in the report, which we have already considered, where the commissioning authority of the report is addressed and the report is submitted following the investigation that is done. So here we have the proposal being submitted to the higher authority who has ordered, or in this case it may not be ordered, to who is the ultimately the deciding power in terms of considering the acceptability of the proposal or not. Then there is a draft contract. The draft contract, we are going to see this very soon about the example of that. The draft contract gives us the details of who will be in charge of this project and other details. And once the proposal is accepted, the draft contract will be signed. Then the table of contents listing the contents of the proposal with the relevant page numbers. Then the summary, and then we start the main body of the proposal where we have the introduction covering the problem and need, or what benefits will come from accepting the proposal. Also the background of what previous work has been done and how the project will build upon the work that has already been done. Also the objectives of the project and the purpose or the boundaries of the project, and the scope and limitation. So how much is really covered by your proposal and what exists outside the scope or purview of your proposal. Then the technical procedures like the methods and sources and the plan of action. Obviously, the plan of action has to be detailed in phases. Now, what sort of procedures? Now, the sequence of activities. If it is an installation project, then the setup, what will you require? What is the full installation plan? What sort of equipments, facilities, products you will need? Now, obviously, I'm here thinking about the business proposal, not the academic one. So what sort of equipments, facilities, and products you will need? So if you are planning a new outlet, so you will need new facilities over there. Will you be requiring some new ones? So that will involve either hire purchase or, moving out from the existing facilities that you already have. So what? So are you going to manage with existing ones or would you require new ones? Again, the people who are involved. Obviously, people are involved at all stages of projects. At the planning stage, at the construction stage, and also when the project is completed and the thing is functional. So when the infrastructure becomes functional, so those are the people involved in the daily upkeep and maintenance. So if I'm planning a new gymnasium, so obviously I would be requiring manpower or maybe more skilled manpower to run that. Or can I manage with the existing manpower? This is something again that I have to consider and to give over here. And also, obviously, with all this comes the cost. The full breakup of the costs with the detailed cost calculations of each and every aspect of it. So all this and followed by a conclusion. So this is mainly the format of the proposal. Now, how do we go about writing of the proposal or the writing strategies that are involved? Now, when you start planning the proposal, first focus on the problem. There is a new proposal topic, so think about it. What is it that you are writing about? So is it a new facility which you plan to have in your office? So why are you thinking of this new facility? What is the background for that? And in what way do you think you are going to develop it? And how will you develop it? What are the things you will need? What materials will you need to develop it? What will be the long-term viability of this? These and similar other questions which will be involved in a brainstorming exercise, which you will be involved in. So first look at the proposal, or if it is the solution to a problem, obviously you have to give some thought to the problem. So think of that and brainstorm intensively on the how, whys, and wherefores of every aspect of the topic. Then do the material gathering. So if I'm planning to have this new gymnasium, then who will be supplying me the sports equipment for that? Or if I need to have new facilities over there, who shall be the people involved in the construction work? Where will I get the people to do the paint job? So all these things, new fixtures, so where will I buy them from? So what are available in the market? Let me look at the options. So the internet or newspapers, you might invite tenders for different people involved in supplies of different kinds. So look up research directories, look up directories and yellow pages where you will get all this classified information. So do the relevant material gathering. Get all the relevant information about people, products, and services. Then prepare the budget and do a close and intensive budgeting over here. So every aspect as close as you can get to the actual price. Obviously, you can write over there within brackets at the end that the prices are subject to market fluctuations and changes which might take place at periodic intervals. So obviously, let us say that there is a time gap that elapses between the time that you're doing research for the proposal and the time that the proposal goes into the hands of the higher authority who will be deciding ultimately upon the viability of the proposal. So there might be a time gap. Even in a couple of months or weeks even, the prices of products might increase or decrease. So prices are subject to change, but try to be as close as possible and mention all the units. Are you giving the cost in rupees, Indian rupees, or are you giving it in some other foreign currency? If so, you have to convert it and give the converted cost in Indian rupees. Also, if you are planning a new construction, then you have to have blueprints for that, and they have to be appropriately to scale. Remember that. So give the blueprints, diagrams, and designs. Once all this is made, then you can actually go into the business of writing the proposal, and that writing will again go through several drafts as with the report. So sketching out the original points, revising, redrafting, all that is involved in writing the proposal. So these are some of the strategies which we follow in writing down the proposal. Now, let us look at a case study of a particular college and a proposal that was prepared over there. So this is a college with 900 plus students, and there are many outstation students who are studying in the college. They stay in the hostel or they stay in the mess, and they regularly need wholesome meals and also meals every day at periodic intervals. But unfortunately, they have no specific college canteen of their own. So I think you will agree that this is a big lacunae, or this is a glaring lack that they have. Now they have an existing canteen, but that is shared between 2 or 3 colleges. Now it can never be the same as the college's own canteen. Now there are various problems which have arisen as a result of this. What are these problems? Let's take a look. There are too many students crowding at meal times. There is lack of adequate or varied food items. There are long delays. Obviously, there are too many students from so many colleges. So there are long delays, and this creates problems in adjusting with class timing. The students are coming to class late because they are getting the food late. Again, the nearby eateries outside the colleges do not provide any healthy options. And the students also have no self-catering facilities, so they are dependent on the staff to provide them the food. So when the staff are free, so maybe the staff may also not be adequate. So they are pushed off their feet in trying to manage so many students. So they are not able to cope either. Whereas self-catering would mean that the students handle the food on their own. And they need a regular supply of meals and snacks. But unfortunately, they do not have a canteen of their own. So this is a problem for the college. Now, what is the solution? The solution obviously to have their own canteen. Now, if we put forward a proposal for a canteen, now what sort of things do we require? So let's do the brainstorming. So in the initial brainstorming, we find out that there are a number of questions which we can ask and answer. Like, for example, what facilities will the upcoming canteen require? It will need facilities obviously like a kitchen, a dining hall, a washroom, and a cafeteria, among other things. And of course, a seating area, which is large enough to hold all the students of the college. Is there any existing facility available? So maybe there is a hall that they have which can be refurbished, or which can be converted into a new full-scale canteen. So how much financial outlay will be required? So this is going to determine the budget. Now, where and how will they get trained canteen staff? So you need staff to man the canteen. Obviously, the other canteen that is in existence is a pooled one containing staff from other colleges. So we cannot bring the staff from there. We need to have a separate staff. So again, they will have to be recruited from somewhere. And what sort of work will be required? Obviously, there will be construction work that will be required. So we will need a lot of building construction, wooden construction, also furniture making. You need plumbing and washroom fittings. You need electrical wiring and insulation. You need to buy cooking appliances, refrigerators, also crockery, cutlery, tableware. We would need painting, and we would need trained staff for cooking and for managing the students in the canteen once the canteen starts operating. So these are all the kinds of manpower and different kinds of work that we would need in order to realize this idea fully of a new college canteen. So this we are getting as a result of our brainstorming. Now, the documents to prepare, that is the proposal itself, we need to have the action plan, obviously, containing the time, the nature of the work, the materials that will be required, the cost, and of course, we would need other documents like the letter of transmittal, the draft contract, the summary, the introduction, the detailed budget. Let us see the samples of these to get a better idea. Now, the action planning. Now, we have said that there has to be a viable action plan in order for the project to be realizable. Now, so how do we do this action planning? Let's see. Divide the whole thing into stages, and for each part, make a short but detailed plan. So in other words, conceptualize this whole project as taking place as a result of certain phases of work. Or let us say the construction that will be taking place will be done in certain phases. So the nature of the work, let's say building construction. So what sort of materials will be needed over there? Items like cement, mortar, sand, and so on. And the cost, again, we have to get the exact cost. Like, for example, cement would cost rupees 340 per 2 kgs. Okay, and the total cost, accordingly, we can calculate as rupees 1.5 lakhs. Like, so we will prepare an action flow chart of the different phases of the work. Construction work, including building construction and wooden construction and the furniture, if it is made. Then plumbing, electrical fittings, lighting, sanitation, and hardware, and so on. So all these would be different phases. For each one, we have to plan out what are the different phases, what work will be done in the different phases, who will be doing the work, and what will be the items involved, and what will be the time planning that is involved for each phase. So then we will total up all the time that will be required in the different phases and also the total cost. So that will give us a long way to get the budget. Now, the prefatory parts, the letter of transmittal, the draft contract, and executive summary. So here we have a sample of the draft contract. As you can see to my right, the institution's name with letterhead is given on top. Then the name of the project, building a student's canteen. The duration of the project is given as 6 months. The budget is rupees 5.5 lakhs. The contract seems to be given to an organization or a company, Emin Dastoor and Company, with their contact address, cell phone numbers, fax, email, and so on. So this is the draft contract. So provided that the proposal is accepted, then this draft contract will be signed. There is also the executive summary. Now, this college has been steadily expanding in terms of student strength. There is no canteen to cope with 900 plus students. All the efforts in the past to set up a viable canteen have failed. The present proposal projects a 300-seater canteen to be built over a period of 6 months with outlay from the building grant obtained from the World Bank funds. The budget and installation plan in stages is given. The new students' canteen, apart from contributing to existing college infrastructure, should also contribute towards the Center of Excellence. So basically, you will see that the executive summary summarizes the problem, the project, the construction, as well as the outcome. So just like the summary of a report gives a recap of the entire document, so this also does it over here in the executive summary of a proposal. Now, this is the main body. So we have the introduction over here. The proposal to develop a 300-seater state-of-the-art students' canteen is made to address the need for a large modern space which can accommodate enough students. Then the problem is given. So why is there the need for a canteen? No existing canteen large enough to accommodate the students. Many students are hostelites and depend on the mess for the meals. They commute for long distances, need several meals in a day. The student body is sufficiently large and numerous to warrant a separate canteen. So these are all the reasons, and all the more so why we need to have a student's canteen of their own. The need for the canteen is separately given. The college needs a student canteen as the number of students is over 900, steadily increasing. Wholesome meal options at affordable rates are not available nearby. The college needs a canteen to qualify as an institution as a center of excellence. So it's going to meet all kinds of needs. Objectives: to create the state-of-the-art 300-seater canteen, self-catering facilities for students, to provide wholesome meals, diet food, and healthy food choices at budget prices. It's a fast-track project utilizing some existing space and resources. Now, what about the budget? So we have, before the budget, the procedures or the activities, the equipment and manpower which we shall need to develop this project. What shall we need? Building construction materials, electrical lighting, cables, fittings and casings, materials for wooden construction and furniture, plumbing materials and fittings, crockery, cutlery and utensils, and we will need manpower like masons, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, all. Appropriate work orders may be given. Now, the timeline for the construction of the project is given in phases. Civil construction in the first phase, 2 months. Electrical wiring, first phase, 15 days. Plumbing and furniture, second phase, 10 days. Furniture making, 1 month. And recruitment of people or manpower in the third phase, 2 months. So this whole process would take around 6 months. And the budget, giving the details of the costs involved, the total construction cost, electrical and electronic items, 1.5 lakhs, furniture, 85,000, plumbing and sanitation, 85,000, coloring and painting, 80,000. So we have to see whether the whole budget is coming in and fitting within the amount of rupees 5.5 lakhs. So it has to fit in over there. So this is a sample of a proposal for building a new students' canteen in a college which badly needs the canteen. So I have tried to show to you how this proposal is planned and written out. So I'm sure you can write down proposals of your own in a similar manner. Now, please do keep in mind that the budget and the detailed outlay of the work is most important. And cost estimates should be as accurate as possible. And as I have already said, the feasibility is the decisive factor in the proposal. So proposals, in order to be successful, need to be viable and feasible. A good research into the background, understanding of the problem, and the vision to offer both short-term and long-range solutions. These are valuable qualities in enriching a good proposal. Also, the writing style needs to be clear and persuasive. So there should be clear and lucid writing, impactful headings and subheadings, and a neat arrangement of factual data in the form of tables, charts, and diagrams. So be systematic, be innovative, and be logical in drafting your proposal. And if you are very likely to succeed, and your proposal will live to see the light of day. So this brings us to the end of the discussion of planning, projecting, and writing a proposal. Thank you.